supposed to be on. What is going on? No, there we go.
Oh, you're up. This is good.
Oh. Okay. Where are there? I'm getting ads for myself. That's weird. I mean, not myself, but. If you can't see Chris, Twitch. Yeah, that's exactly what I just. Echo should be off. Change the stream title. Where do I change the stream title? Grr. Badass echo. But echo. Okay. Yeah, hold on. Just a second. Hate this crap. Turn the record bit off, lol. I turn off everything. It's ridiculous. Change the stream title. Where is the stream? Oh, is this the stream title? That's the stream title. This is 275? No way, it's 275. More building. I have no idea. That'll do for now. What's sort of happening in this stream? Hold on. Let's make sure everyone can actually hear me. What? I have brisk watermelon lemonade. Okay, now echo now. We have visuals. Wow, this is a kitchen. Damn right it's a kitchen. Why is this not... Lots of code. You can hear ya? Okay. I hope that's good. All right. Make sure this is associate put in the right place. Okay. Let's see. Stonehearth stream 275. Welcome everyone. Building. I was last here like 8 weeks ago, probably something like that, and we had just started the big refactor, the big redesign of building. I guess I'd gotten some parts of it done. What did I got? I had some of the basic outlines, some of the basic structures, things like that. And yeah, 8 weeks later, well, let's check in. Let's see where we are. So these happy fellows are building, somewhat incorrectly though, but nevertheless, oh, and they got stuck because they're dumbasses. Come on, get out of there. Go back to work. No one said you could stop working. This is the new building system, which is to say the new, sort of back end to building all the new structures. I'll actually go over a lot of the guts and a lot of the pieces that went into this to get this sort of just into this state. And this is the very first auto test that we built when we were sort of backfilling and coming with all the building tests in order to make sure everything worked. So I've been just finally now going through them, trying to get them to work, finding little bugs, scaffolding things, this and that. What is a text? Yeah, just 1 second. We'll get to that. Because there's a lot of new stuff. Like, this is a totally new building system, and it touches the nav grid, it touches the actual building stuff, it touches the scaffolding, touches topology service, introduces a new thing called an adjacency service, and oh, seriously, I actually thought I put in code for these guys to not do. Oh, you're not even gonna be able to get that. Forget it. You're stuck, and I can't put ladders next to you because I got all the green and red everywhere. We'll just run it again. Usually they're a little bit better than that. So let's see. what direction should I go in this? Let's start with, yeah, so what is that text? So there is a new AI system, or not a new AI system. We're using the old AI system. Haven't rewritten that yet. But we are changing the way, or I am changing the way that the AI works with respect to building. The way it works currently in production is kind of weird. It's a little bit backwards the way you might think. You might think the way you want it is, I want to go and build something. Oh, is there anything to build? Oh, cool, there's a structure over there. I should go build that thing. What do you need? Oh, you need wood? Oh, okay, I'll go bring you some wood. And so you go, and so you first find something that's buildable. And then you go and you pick up like a piece of wood for that because you know that it's a wooden structure and it needs wood. And then you go to that structure and then you build it. And the way it currently works is actually kind of backwards, where it says, we actually have a bunch of different tasks in the AI for each kind of material that could be built. So we will have someone somewhere that says, I'm the fabricate wooden structure task. So then the way that task works is, says, okay, go find me some wood. Okay, wood. Now find me a structure that needs wood. And like, well, maybe there's no such structure, right? Like, so why did you, do that? And so it's a fallout from the way that the AI works. It's a fallout from the way the fact that we were never able to go. We didn't have this topology service where we could tell what was connectable and what was not. So the end result was that we basically had to sort of optimistically say, well, I'm going to go and assume that I can find a path to this structure, and then I'm going to go and other structures and put them all into the A-star Pathfinder, and it's going to look around, and hopefully it'll find something that's reachable. And I'm finally turning that on its head and turning it back into the thing that makes more sense, which is, okay, find me a reachable structure. Oh, cool, you're a reachable structure. You need wood. I'm gonna go get some wood. I'm gonna go, actually bring the wood and construct it and build the structure. And the result of that is a change. It's exacerbating some errors in the AI behavior, and specifically with contention for different pieces, for contention for building stuff, or for contention for getting locations to where you can go and actually do construction. So you see that these names over these purple regions over here, these are pieces of the structure that the hearthlings wanted to go and reserve, and they kind of all collided. They all got together and were like, I want to go work on this. And some guy got the chance to do that, but everyone else was still thinking, and then they tried to go and sort of get leases onto that particular part where it's insane they wanted to go and do work on it. And then the A-star Pathfinder is like, no, you can't do that. Someone else got it. And then someone else, it's like a big pile on. Everyone's trying to go and do the same thing. One person wins and everyone else loses, and they kind of rethink. And so we've kind of managed to avoid this in the current system by kind of papering over it, and you put all these kind of things in the A-star Pathfinder, and they all kind of look around. And I don't want that to work this way for the new system, for the new way the new sort of topology system works. So I am basically going and I'm pulling this weed out by the roots. And I'm going to be figuring out exactly why there's so much contention for certain pieces, why they aren't trying to go and build a bunch of other different things. So these green structures are the currently active building pieces. And so, well, why didn't you go and try this one when you knew you couldn't do this one? Why couldn't you have rethought and go somewhere else? So that is what this is going. These purple structures, or these purple boxes, are like, hey, Eladalis tried to go and reserve this area but couldn't because someone else had already, presumably put down a structure, and then same over here, and then well, actually everyone piled on over here and over here because it's such a narrow little piece. So that's the long and short of that. I've just built in. Actually, if you are on Alpha 22. You'll notice a Stonehearth.debug shapes service that now exists that allows you to basically go create little silly shapes like this very, very easily and kind of have them disappear and come back or whatever. Very, very useful if you're trying to figure out where stuff is in the entire world. I should actually probably read some stuff. Stonehearth, please remember to breathe. I breathe fine. I talk quickly generally. If you want me to talk slowly and deliberately, it's a real deliberate and thoughtful effort on my part to do that. Will the game actually ever be finished? Yeah. That's a good question. More building questions. Hold on, it's going back. Will it touch? Oh yeah. Are we still? Yeah. We. Okay. I like this. How do I pronounce your name? Artisuisse 553. Let me say I've had problems with building things in this game since I bought in on Alpha 3. Yes, as we have all, and I'm really sorry for that, but yeah, I'm at least very happy to hear they are still working on it. Yeah, so we're not still working on it. This is the great redesign. This is the come to Jesus building system. I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but this is the no, we're fixing all. We've rethought, redesigned, re-implemented, and are going to basically get it right. Will it touch building structural integrity? Radiant saying they want to make buildings consider weight and material durability at some point. At some point, maybe. But we'll see about that. Thus far, we have resisted making a voodoo doll of Tony. Well, as far as you know, I haven't. Let's see. It's intense and I am always like this. Yes, giant pieces of data like the matrix downloading. It is. There's a lot that's going on, etc. Wow, a lot of people have been talking. Yeah, I know. He was like this all of PAX. Yes, pretty much. It's going to be insane coding feat. Yeah, well, I think we've got it. I think we've got, yeah, oh, are you, yeah, you're almost done. Except you've got two little pieces over here. There's something going wrong with the adjacency computation that's leading it to think that these are not actual roots when they should be. I might actually hack on that this stream, but I just wanted to go over a few things for you. So yeah, anyway, this is the very first what's it called? This is the very first auto test that we run that has a couple nice little things with shared scaffolding. It has scaffolding that's on top of other little pieces of scaffolding get reused. So nothing too crazy actually in terms of building difficulty. Anything interesting here? These ladders are cool. Let me start it again, and I'll show you what's cool about those ladders. Actually, I know what I'll do. I'm going to show you something else. Build to test. What is it? Trap hard? It's trap hard, isn't it? Let's do trap hard. Underscore trap hard. And then run this guy. Go build, 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 build. Yes, we know there's contention. Okay, this is even a simpler looking structure. So why am I building this? Aside from the fact that the idiots again got ahead of themselves and didn't bother going and getting down there to go and build scaffolding for everyone else. Really annoying. That will be fixed. The interesting thing about this structure is that if you try to build this in current day Stonehearth, it is 50-50 whether this will complete or just totally outright fail. And the way it'll fail is they'll just stop working. They won't be able to do anything. And why is that? Because this is a box, and there's no entry to this thing, and it has this piece that goes down. You can see it goes down right into the middle over here. And this is what I've typically referred to as what's called a hearthling trap, whereby you can build a thing that hearthlings get into and then they can't get out of. And in the current system, we just don't know how to handle that. Like it's a blind alley, it's a blind spot in the system, in the engine, and it just like we can't even detect it. We couldn't even detect it. We could probably detect it at runtime, and it would be super hard to do. At design time of the structure, we can tell that this is a hearthling trap, and we actually go and place a ladder here and another ladder right over there. And those are two topology ladders. So these two ladders are placed by when we actually construct the building plan. We figure out that, oh, okay, so this is going to be unreachable. I need a way to get down inside there, and I need to be able to get on top of this thing over here. And we can tell this because we have this topology service, and we can tell that these two things are disconnected topologically, this interior and the outside over here. And then we just say, oh, okay, place a ladder. And the adjacent service is like, yeah, you want to place a ladder over here, you can place another one over there, and that's going to go, and that'll link them together. And sounds like a very straightforward way of, I guess I explained that in like 1 minute, and it took a little bit longer to code that. But the point is that we can now go and construct really sophisticated structures that have these cul-de-sacs, that have these hearthling traps inside them. And as long as there's a way to like drop a ladder, as long as you don't have to use dynamite to like blow open a wall, then you can absolutely go and build that thing, and the system will figure it out, and they will be able to go and put ladders in the appropriate places and get in and out. An interesting consequence of this as well is that in the old system we would use scaffolding to basically go and act as that kind of adjacency ladder, where you could go and you had to put scaffolding around all the sides, because that was the only way to make sure that as scaffolding kind of goes up and down, other structures getting built, that you can get onto the structures you need to in order to get to the other things, to build the other thing, to get to the other thing, and so forth, in this horrible sort of transitive mess. It's really, really awkward and annoying. So we don't have to use scaffolding that way. We no longer, scaffolding is now just about making sure you can reach, like, you know, the top bits of the structure that you're building. And as far as getting around, as far as actually getting to the different pieces, we can detect. We can say, oh yeah, this thing's totally connected to the universe. It's connected to you know, the outside, so your hearthlings can reach it. It's no problem. As opposed to you know, or if it isn't, we can just go and like throw a ladder down. So you can even see over here for this guy, it was just like, I need to build this structure over here. They didn't build scaffolding for it. They built a topology ladder, climbed the ladder, got into the top, and then boop, boop, put down the 2 blocks, and that was it. So what you're going to see is, yeah, Bruno Supreme says, yeah, scaffolding was like a shell. That should go away. For the most part, we should be able to get rid of the vast majority of like the ridiculous wraparound scaffolding that, you know, looked, you know, asinine, but we had to do it. There was nothing else that we could do, because if we didn't do it, we couldn't guarantee reachability. So that's the huge sort of like I know this looks still a little bit rough right now, but like it's actually at the point now where I can just start kind of fixing bugs and getting things done and doing crap. Yeah, the fact that that works, the fact that this has been validated, like we have a really good, and oh yeah, and and then the flip side of that, the other cool thing is before we'd have to fake certain parts. We'd have to go and have to like we'd be laying down these we'd be computing the sort of the scaffolding and the dependencies for these little chunks of the building, and we'd get to one and we wouldn't know where to put it, and we couldn't put scaffolding anywhere, and there's no way to sort of schedule this and do anything. And so we would just kind of pop it into existence. We'd be like, I don't know if I can actually go and if anyone's gonna be able to build it. So we're just gonna, like, it's literally, if you look at complicated structures in Stonehearth as you're building today, and you're really paying close attention, you'll just see little blocks pop in, because there was just nothing else we could do. And now, first of all, that should never have to happen for a buildable structure. Although there are still certain things we don't know how to build, like large sort of overhanging structures and some other things like that. But we can accurately detect that we're at a piece that we can't build. That should be intuitive why we can't, like we don't know how to build scaffolding like that, or you actually put it in a place that's invalid. Like the hearthlings will always hit their heads and you won't be able to go and do anything. And then, so we don't have to fake anything, and we can also give you feedback, actual actionable feedback, if your design doesn't make sense and you need to go and fix something. So that's pretty exciting for me. This is closing the loop of correctness in building that we've just been lacking for, you know, as someone was saying, it's been broken since, you know, Alpha 3, and like we've definitely fixed things since then. We can support lots of other structures, but it's still not good enough, and this finally gets us to that place, I think. Let's see, GeoCorp Scrapper says, so is this searching for particular topo blocks and patching them, or a more global approach? Not entirely sure what you're talking about there. We don't have to patch. We're not looking for top. It's more like, I can even show you what it's exactly like. Oh, assuming it's still there. I think it's still there. Let's see. Topology, all. Do we have? Nah, we don't have it. Okay, never mind. The reflow hasn't been done either. I paused the universe when it was in the middle of it. Yeah, because I'm visualizing. Oh yeah, something else that happened is we have multiple nav grids now. Navigation grid is where the game takes place, or at least it's where it used to take place. It was a single entity that existed in the entire Stonehearth, and so everyone would refer to the nav grid when they were putting, you know, objects in the world. And now we have little bubble nav grids that we can kind of pop into existence, and that's actually how we do the planning. We take the building blueprint that you've come up with, and then we take the surrounding region and we sort of fork off a piece of the universe, and then that's where we do all our computations and we figure out what the topology is. So yeah, so to answer your question about the topo approach, we're looking at colorings and we're saying, okay, there's you know, the grass is all connected together, and so this is like one color. And before you drop ladders, the top of this is another color because they're not connected. What's the smallest number of ladders I can deploy to connect between sort of this color and then this color, and then the adjacency service is like, oh, we have this thing called an adjacency service that operates on the topological representation of the game of Stonehearth, and that goes and says, oh, okay, yeah, I know how to do that. If I drop a ladder over here, we can go and we can connect these two regions, and it caches these things and it tries to do it relatively efficiently. Time Lord physics. More like Star Trek, that episode where Dr. Crusher gets trapped in a bubble universe. It's a little bit like that, because people are disappearing, and in our bubble universes, we remove all the people and stuff, so it's a little bit like that. I want to show you one other thing. What I mean is, hearthlings don't build this. Let's try stuff. Yeah, no, that's the thing. If a hearthling cannot build it, there's going to be a handful of reasons why. The first is it might like literally be impossible. Like you built a structure inside an area in which you can't even get access to, or like there's a mouse hole that you could get through, but a hearthling can't fit through there. So we can be like, hey, I can't even place a basic structure anywhere. You need to take a look at this. This whole thing is unbuildable. In which case, again, that's sort of intuitively, hopefully intuitively obvious to a player. And then, you know, other things where like, well, right now we just don't even support it. Like large, like multi, sort of like, you know, K by K volume slab that hangs down from a structure. We don't know how to do that yet. We have to be a little bit creative about the way we place our scaffolding and sort of tear it down and do these things in sections. It's all possible, but it hasn't been implemented yet. So in the meantime, when we get to something that looks like that, we can be like, hey, you got a thing here, I don't know how to build it. And again, you guess you could have technically done this in the current system, but it wouldn't have been actionable. It would have just been like, oh, look at this. You've got your block somewhere. I don't know why. Like because the algorithm said so. Like there's no intuition behind it. It's just because of the awkwardness and the fact that we don't have this topological representation. There's no actionable feedback we can give to a player, and so you're just sort of stuck. Oh yeah, good questions. Need more good questions. Won't they get stuck removing ladders from the incorrect side? Okay, so there's a couple things we could do. We could do the hard thing, which is to say, okay, I know this is a topological ladder, and I know where outside, quote unquote, is, because that's where we sort of started. So what we can do is say, okay, make your way up to the topological ladder, get off of it, remove it from that side, because they are actually sided, these ladders. We know in which direction they could be built up and down if you're going from like color 2 to color 1 or back, or vice versa. So you could do that, and this is actually quite possible, I think. It's going to really suck. It's going to really suck, especially when you have like a lot of like, if you have really complicated buildings and if you have really these beautiful ornate structures like Gythandra builds, it's going to take forever to like coordinate. And it's not just one hearthling, right? You got to make sure all the hearthlings are past any topological choke points when you remove that ladder. And then, you know, they disappear, and then you get, oh, these guys might get trapped and whatever. It's a super frustrating experience. I think the solution I'm leading towards, and I think we're gonna see this as well, because this also makes sure, this was brought up actually in a previous stream, that we don't want to punish the player. We don't punish you guys for like trying to build complicated buildings and do cool structures and stuff like that. We want some level of verisimilitude. We want some level of like realism where the hearthlings are building stuff. But if it starts to get in the way of the actual fun, I would err on the side of doing something a little bit more creative. So what I think we might end up doing is like doing a big evacuation, where like the hearthlings basically run down and like get to the sort of the outside regions, and then a big reveal happens as sort of all the scaffolding pieces start to like fall apart, and then you have this sort of like almost like a reveal ceremony for the building. This hasn't been completely decided yet. We'll see what the ramifications are, but A, I like it because it's really easy to do, and B, it means you don't have to wait like an hour of, you know, whatever, or, you know, potentially a lot of time. If you have a really complicated structure with a lot of little ladders that are connecting places, it's a long, and then the building collapses. The building does not collapse. The buildings are sturdy. Hearthlings use genuine voxels when building. Oh. King Plasmadum says, yes, God, yes. I take it you don't like waiting for scaffolding to come down either. Also, when you're building the roads are only dirt. Yeah, that's, I'm not going to talk about that yet. We will get there. But let's see. I want to show you, yeah, one other thing. Just started this work, but I think it's enough to at least show you kind of directionally what we've been sort of talking about a little bit. Oh, did I not do a, sorry, make run, build, test. That's the building core that I've been demonstrating. That is the guts of the building system and where it's sort of going. This is going to be the start of some prototypes we're going to be doing for investigating new building tools. Oop, and the chat just disappeared. Let's go and put that over here. I should let you guys see. So this is a hypothetical new wall tool. We're starting simple. Walls are like pretty well defined, but like let's see what kind of things pop out. And this is like literally like we just started this like yesterday or whatever. So like this is just super early. But okay, you go. You can place your wall. You can't see as I'm actually doing like a hold and drag, as opposed to sort of the click and drag, which also still works. So both of those things kind of function. But we've got these funky black bars on the top of our walls, and of course that's where we can go and drag and resize and make these things different heights and make them different widths as well. I want to be able to drag. That's not in yet because I said this is like super early, but we will get there. But we were just basically kind of fooling around with how this is going to be, how this is going to feel and how this is going to work. All the little problems that kind of fall out where you go like this and like, oh, now I have a structure on top of another structure. Do I allow you to do this? Does this push up the wall? Is it invalid? We can't do that. Do we obey gravity? So if I pull down, these will fall. Actually, maybe this is even worth a moment. We'll be able to use erase or undo on them. You are totally getting ahead of me. So the idea is like the current building editor. The current building editor is built around these sort of very fixed notions of what a structure is, of like what a wall is, what a roof is. So like roofs only go on walls. Like you can't put them anywhere else, and like that's an unfortunate restriction that's there for a variety of reasons. But going forward is not going to be there. Likewise, oh, I have a wall. Wouldn't it be cool if I could like go and like put an opening in the wall? Oh no, sorry, you can't do that on the current wall tool because like that's not what walls are. And like, no, actually, we could totally do that. And that building these sort of orthogonal tools that all kind of work together and don't in unsurprising ways. So like the wall tool isn't really like you're building a wall so much as you are. As we are giving you a means of manipulating voxels in a wall-like fashion, meaning that you would be able to go and sort of stretch them and adjust the heights and whatnot. But you want to put a hole in the wall? Sure. What if you want to put a hole in a roof? Like, you want to put chimneys, right? You want to be able to go and cut these sections out. Like, why can't we give you that? And there's no reason we can't do that. Not in the new system, anyway. The old system was super fragile and brittle and had these very strict ideas about how things were going to work. We don't have to be constrained by that here. So yeah, let's give you some cutaway tools that will work on any wall, that'll work on any collection of voxel, including roofs. Let's make sure that you can put structures anywhere that sort of make sense. Yeah, so that's where like we needed the core. We needed a core that was built around those principles. And now that that's actually finally sort of coming into fruition, we can start to hack on prototype some of these UI bits. And actually get this into a place where not only is it powerful, but it's actually really fun to use. Even just like the fact that we can just like have adjustable like wall height, like wow, what a bloody revolution. But like, oh yeah, you wanted to have like some really tall stuff. Oh, here you go. Here are your tall things. Well, okay, maybe not this. We'll figure that out. But yeah, so this is just the start of it, and in the forthcoming weeks you'll see us start to talk a little bit more about like what's actually working, what isn't. I think someone up here mentioned rooms. That is going to be one of the next big things to do as well. Is if you ever used The Sims where they have like a room tool. That idea where you have these square things that you can just put together and they union nicely, and you can just kind of compose quickly these structures out of that, and then actually pile them on top of each other and things like that. I think between like rooms, walls, a nice item placer, a little subtraction tool, and then a roof tool where you can put roofs on anything, it's going to be a really powerful and fun system to use. If we can have holes, will they be destructible voxel-wise? So the core of this, the core building stuff, again, is built around just sort of these little chunks of voxels, and it doesn't know anything about rooms, and it doesn't know anything about walls or anything like that. And the building plan stuff kind of works in concert. So the idea is like you have this blueprint. And then you have so you have blueprint is what you want the world to look like. And then you have what the world currently looks like, and which might contain nothing, it might contain none of your building, or it might contain pieces of your building. So you have the blueprint, you have the state of the world, and then when you want to build, you're basically, if you know anything about sort of Git and sort of programming and stuff like that, we're going to compute what is basically a diff. We're going to look at the difference between what you want the world to look like and what the world currently looks like. And from that gives you all the little pieces, and all the little pieces that you can need to be assembled, excluding the things that have already been built. And so the new system actually accommodates this, where we can then go and just specify, you can have a building that's been partially destroyed, or a building that's been partially built and maybe you canceled it or something like that, and then you can just go back and say, actually, no, I like this blueprint, or I can even make some small changes to the blueprint maybe. Renovations, we're going to see about that. And then you click build, it calculates a new plan from the current in state of the building, and then you can start to build again. So the idea is then that destructible walls should be relatively trivial to support, and that definitely getting access to them and making sure that you can go put the voxels in the right place. There's difficulties here and there, but I think between sort of the topology service, the adjacency service, and then the new building core system with this sort of planned thing that we can just sort of generate on the fly as we need it, I think that puts us in a really, really good position where we can do all those kind of cool things. Let's see. Is colors a part of what you work on, or will that be a separate part of the building tool? I'm not specifically going to be doing colors on this. That's something we're currently looking at a lot of different things about what buildings look like, what the materials look like. There will be more to say on that when we actually have more to say, but that's going to be multicolored voxels. Yeah. What an interesting idea. Moving along. Let's see. Free build tool. Honestly, what's up with the bunny statues? Are bunnies going to be another race or what? No comment. What are we doing about more building? We are talking about more building. I have been going over a lot of different stuff about the forthcoming revamp to the building system. Wall material palette swaps. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Lots of cool little stuff over there. Yeah, so I guess that's where we're at right now with the sort of in progress prototype. And then the what's it called? Excuse me, the building core, which is what I'm still sort of Also, I'm basically in the middle of both of these things. Any specific questions? Anything else? Let me see if anyone's been asking stuff. Love for the building. Thanks for all the hard work you put in. Still more to go. This will be there. This will be there for a while. Lots of adjustable roof slants. Yeah, roof slants are difficult with voxels to make them look good. Geocorp Scrapper will say, so if the game will remember what completed buildings look like and calculate diffs, it will be able to have destructible, restorable buildings. Some fire from siege machines, then hearthlings rebuild their stuff to previous state when they have enough time and materials. Yep, that's pretty much. Oh, building slice tool. I'm assuming you mean the visualization of it, like when we do the tearaway part where you can see inside. If that's what you mean, yeah, that's a really, really important part of what we're going to be doing. And it will probably be like a multi-level thing where you can just kind of peel down level after level after level in order to kind of get a more, like right now it's like you kind of just see everything at once and it's like, no, too difficult. And the Sims actually does that multi-level thing and that seems to work pretty well. We have one or two other little ideas we might test, but I think that's probably the most promising one. And then someone else asking about free building tool. We're not taking away the voxel tool. Absolutely not. That's not going anywhere. We're going to make it better. My ideas for that currently involve a lot of sort of this extruding and pushing, pulling of individual voxels. So like you can kind of lay down some sort of voxel at first, and then you can start to extrude and like kind of pull and like select a bunch of like individual voxels or even like an entire face and kind of pull that out. So you still have all the power to be able to do anything per voxel that you want, but you have this additional kind of power of being able to do like multiple selections at the same time and whatnot, things like that. Sims do have level-based slices, but it's horrible. I don't know about horrible. It's a tough problem. It was horrible back when I played. Yeah, I've been looking at 4 a lot. Like it's really funny going over and playing with it because like these guys did their homework. It's funny because like I know all the crap that they've had to do a lot more because they have even a wider variety of sort of structures that can be built at different angles and things. But I see some of the decisions they made. I'm like, yep, that makes sense because that avoids those 7 other problems. So yeah, again, we're not wed to that. I think that seems like a good starting point for us. But we're going to continue to try to see what makes sense and see what works. Stonehearth buildings are weird in that some of them are very, very kind of simple and square, and like you have these sort of well delineated levels, and then some are just like cathedrals and like just totally like off the wall stuff, like people render chickens in the game, and like I have an interior chicken they can live inside, and like, oh my god, I don't even, yeah. what is a floor then? Like, I don't know. So we have to kind of, we're not going to have a solution that will work for everything, but hopefully we'll have a solution that will work for most things, all the time. So, perfect free tools, scrap. Okay, if you want your, yeah. When will trading post be able to sell more stuff other than wood and stone? I am not too sure. We will see. I've just been wondering, is there any consideration the idea of being able to build at 45-degree angles? No. I mean, you could manually do it on the ground, if that's what you mean, where you go and you sort of like place like an X on the ground, like if that's the 45-degree angle. But if you actually want to be able to kind of like do a slant, aesthetically, it generally doesn't look particularly good. It ends up looking very, very busy. And there are also building problems when you like try to like there are consistency problems. Well, we might have to face them anyway and might have to bite the bullet. I'm leaning toward, let's say, okay, right now I'm leaning towards like, it's a can of worms that you potentially open if you allow that kind of stuff. We will see, but right now probably not. Half-life's actually, 2 by what? By 3 tall? What is the other measurement of the hearthling? Hearthling is a 1 by 3 by 1. Half-slice actually looks good, but doesn't take floors into consideration. Yeah. Floors. Free placement per voxel buildings. How does the cam know it's a building cave? Excellent question. Yeah, so that's another thing we will... So caves are going to be a problem because we just hollow them out. But as far as free buildings are concerned, you will, I mean, there's only one way to really do this. Well, there's 2 ways to do this. We can try to guess. We can say, oh, you have a section of voxel over here. It's, it's vertical in the sense that it has, it's greater than 1 in the y direction, and only one side of it is 1 deep. So we think it looks like a wall. So maybe we can infer that it's a wall and then have it behave like that. I personally think that's, you're going to get into trouble if you try to do it that way. And it's certainly not enough because people will always go and do like weird stuff where they start to go and add little crenellations around things on the outsides of walls, and now it's no longer 1 deep, and so the system is going to get confused. And better to the person that knows what a wall is going to be the person that designs the building. So giving you the ability to go and select pieces of voxel, select portions of it, and then say, okay, that is going to be a wall. This is going to be a floor, and in the sense that it will have those semantics, so that when you are going into sort of the multi-level view, you can have a very detailed structure that doesn't look at all like what we would consider a floor in Stonehearth, but then it can still act that way. It will get hidden and unhidden in that fashion. Let's see. Also, why only Windows? You mean the windows that we can place, or the operating system? As for the operating system, yeah, hey, I got my Mac. My Mac is crying out for a Stonehearth build. It's there. It's on the roadmap, but right now we're just concentrating on someone pointed out building's been broken since it was introduced, and it's time to fix this. It's time to nail this particular part of it. Let's batten down these hatches, make sure that core experience is great, and as engineers roll off that, we can start to look at other things. I've played up to Alpha 20 where I tried to build a windmill, and they always get stuck because when they get the windmill blades. Yeah, exactly. Are you guys planning to make that possible? I really want to avoid that. I don't want to make it possible. I think I actually know the windmill you're talking about. I think I might have been testing on that way back in the day. That was one of the unbuildable buildings that I was hacking on. And yeah, the disconnected voxels that are floating in midair caused all kinds of problems. And you could imagine that we could allow you to place completely clear, not alpha blended, but just non-existent voxels. So they're there in the game, but you can't see them, and it's exclusively for artistic reasons, so that you can go and you can have your serrated kind of edges. And then I just know people are going to start to build with them, and you're going to have these invisible structures, and the hearthlings are going to be standing in air, and it's oh, damn it, why did we give this to you? So I don't know. There are workarounds. There are things that we might be able to do like that. We will see. We will see what works and what makes sense, and what makes sense from a gameplay perspective, and the usual stuff like that. caves, you could potentially go with, as you have the foundation and floor sections, because you have a ceiling section button that detects ceilings and then sets the bounds of the building. Yeah, I mean, you could extend the tool, is basically what you're saying. We actually do know what the interior of caves looks like. We have that tech already, and if we could extend it and to be able to mark things as, you know, ceilings, floor, whatnot, yeah, then maybe there's something we could do. I would love a slice tool that was just better, that was like fast, and you could kind of, you know, just go up and down very, very quickly and move around. But maybe we'll end up revisiting some of this as we kind of start to hit the stuff with the building editor. Any thoughts on resolving the RC sleeping outside issue due to open roofs? I think we haven't done it yet. We're going to close the roofs. I think that was we were actually talking about this a week or 2 or 3 ago. I recall some discussion. Yeah, like it's. I mean, again, you could try to do a transparent thing, but like I think it just, if we introduce weather, or I should say when we introduce weather, and it rains, it's gonna rain on the hearthlings. Like, deserts are cool and all, but like they do get water. It does happen occasionally, and you will need water almost certainly even in a desert biome. So I think that we kind of made the decision. We haven't done anything yet, but we were like, yeah, we're just gonna have to go and you know, put a solid roof over them. Yeah, I have Windows, but some of my friends don't. Yeah, well, your friends are, that's good. I'm glad they don't have Windows. I wish I didn't have Windows, but we'll get there. I feel like you're going in this direction, but it's possible at some point to move a building while being designed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like, that, again, it should be there now, and it isn't, but in the new system, yeah. Like, in the new system, like, the concept of a building should be really, really, really lightweight, because we want to be able to actually get to the point where you can have reusable pieces of building. So it's never mind just a template of, you know, the farmer house or the template of the blacksmith's house or whatever, but to actually be able to say this is like, you know, like a little, like this is like a half, like this is like the gabled part of a roof that you can then reuse and put in places, and just like have buildings that are not really buildings but just sub buildings, little pieces of them, and that means being able to drag them into the world, drag them around, move them around. So that's like, we'll absolutely have that. That's when I'm talking half slices. Still, I'm no dev, so I don't know any about possible problems. Yeah, we will see. Time before roofs. Yeah. This is not Minecraft. No floating. Yeah. It's amazing what people want, though. Yeah. I really want to stay away from that, but like, yeah, you could strong arm me. You could twist my arm into seeing a use case where we need it, but it's not at the top of my list. It's going to be a very long time, I think. Cloud castles, you say? Yeah. We'll see. For the slicing tools, it's costly if you cut just one building at a time. So I think what and I was actually just discussing this with our UX expert, Nikki, today, is to have actually 2 versions of the slice tool, or the building slice tool. One which is on a per building level. Where it'll be, super fast and efficient. I mean, all buildings should actually be fast and efficient as well. I know how to make that a hell of a lot faster than it currently is. But regardless, I think it's also very confusing if you just like, you just want to see this one building and you want to like be able to peel levels, up and down on the thing, and to have all the other buildings everywhere suddenly start peeling up and down, like it makes no sense. So I think we're going to have like a global one if you want to be able to sort of see all your buildings in like a dollhouse fashion, and then a local one that's building specific, so that you can go and just sort of focus on that particular building. Let's see, different races can have different ideas about closed, open roofs. But if you have rain, and if you have, storms or things that are coming in, it's, I like them too. Yeah, I really do like them. In fact, I love the look of them. But practically speaking, it's a problem. And it's difficult to bend the gameplay rules in a consistent way that also doesn't confuse people, where it's like, is that actually a roof? Are my, hearthlings actually okay that that's a roof? And like, even though the water's coming in? Is there going to be more forest templates soon? Nothing on the immediate horizon, although we are looking at, Ali is like getting into knee deep, looking at sort of the global kind of feel for the actually, I guess it's really just a temperate region of Stonehearth right now. She'll be exploring a couple other things like that, so there may be some changes on the horizon, but nothing in the immediate future. Any other pieces besides squares? It is things like half slices, stairs. Yeah, and we'll have stair tool, like a stair tool is a requirement. Hopefully, and also more kinds of stairs so we can have like little twirling bits and whatnot. Besides that, I don't see a whole lot like between the walls, the rooms, giving you the ability to save your own prefabs. I don't know that there's a lot we could do. We'll see. We'll see if anything makes sense, if anything jumps out, but I suspect that that's probably, the stairs is the only really obvious one where it's like, yeah, of course you need stairs to be able to connect stuff, so, yeah. Decoration, imagine with roof holes and some deco installed inside those holes. Yeah, but is decoration solid or not? It's actually a good point, though. If you actually had a roof that you then filled with items, does the region collision shape update? I'll ask Albert about that. He's probably thought about this already. So what should the game consider? A closed roof is simple. I mean, right now it's just like contiguous. There are no openings. There's no way for water to get in. There's no way for a hearthling to like raycast outside and detect that it's outside or anything like that. It's a simple, obvious model, and maybe there's ways to extend it in ways that are sensible, that also are aesthetically pleasing. But this is the principle of least surprise. This is the one that's like, oh yeah, okay, I kind of get this. What are the thoughts about cellars? Yeah, underground structures are not something we're looking at right now. Hopefully, this is not something we dig ourselves or paint ourselves into a corner. Yeah, I really want to tackle it. It's not in the immediate part of. We want to be able to sort of hit everything the building can do right now, but also do it way better. That's kind of the goal for like the next building release that'll come out. And so cellars aren't actually part of that because we can't do cellars in the current system. But being able to do that nicely in a way that isn't terribly hacky and moving stuff around, that seems like because people love to do that. People like, I would like to be able to just take a building template, shove it in a cliffside, and then like have the hearthlings tunnel the whole damn thing out and build the thing inside there. So like you could like easily save a Hobbit kind of template that is meant to be put inside a structure or meant to be put inside a mountain, for example, or for a grassland. Yeah, so I really want that. It's not in the immediate future. It shouldn't require a significant extension. Like the building core should be fine. As long as we get the UX right for what we're building right now, that shouldn't impact anything. I think it really is just a sort of an extra orthogonal feature that we want to then add in. Like you can imagine being able to extend sort of the slice view to give you some units of ground that you could then excavate using a building mine tool that would then remove them, and then you could put a building inside there, and then it would understand that this is a building that is like that has a second story or a basement, cellar, that kind of thing. Those are vague ideas. I apologize. Yeah, I want to see it. It's not on the docket right now. Oh, to clarify, I meant like a half block instead of, oh, yeah, subvoxel. We've talked about that a little bit. You run into the issue of hearthlings floating on air, or hearthlings that are just not connected to stuff, or like you're blocked by something that doesn't look like you should be blocked by. We've had some VizDev explorations where we're looking at adding more detail into the voxels, but keeping the voxel style, the completely filled voxel, and so far it's looking pretty good. It's definitely not off the table, but that's a long-term consideration for sort of again adding these extra pieces of detail into the game. Decorative clay wall floor, Moroccan style, yeah, maybe. Personally, I think this will change style considerably, maybe with more decorations. Yeah. Being able to carve stairs out of solid ground, up and down with a juggle every 5 layers. Yeah. Relative build tool. It's not within this build tool, but hopefully a stair blueprint thing that we like when we come up with a stair tool for the actual building, that will inform and maybe be reusable when it comes to like, hey, I want to build some damn stairs out of the ground. Like for example, actually that's actually one of the key parts of the stair tool I want to see is you just click and you select stairs, and then it gives you not only the stairs, but it'll actually take out the section above the stairs and ensure that it's free and remove like whatever pieces of flooring are there, so you don't have to manually go and do that. It's a common point people forget, or they expect the tool to behave that way and then it doesn't. And then you can imagine that actually works well with mining, where you actually have this template of what you want sort of a mined section to look like, and you push it into the universe, and it's like, okay, this is the negative region we're going to extract, and we're going to leave the rest of this here. So it might be reusable. We'll see. Dirt tool coming, hopefully. Let's see. Well, my hearthlings are calling, so I'm going to bow to the stream. Thank you for all your hard work. Absolutely. Tons of extra work still to do, forever and ever, but I'm glad that things are actually starting to shape up. Let's see, add to the question about materials. In addition to semi-transparent reflective materials, can have actual emitting surfaces, like lava, lantern surface. Yeah, that is part of the ongoing VizDev stuff that we've been doing. At this point, it's like, yeah, we should have emission surfaces. When do we sort of get that work scheduled, and how do we figure how to do that? Yeah, but especially for lava, especially once we eventually get lava in the game, that is the sort of thing where, like, yeah, you want an emissive surface and you want that kind of effect. So it's not going to be in building, but we'll get there eventually, I think. So on the topic of weather, if the hearthlings get wet by rain or snow, would they catch cold? There are no diseases in Stonehearth yet. No communicable disease. Contagious diseases. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to talk to Richard about that one, because I want the two things that I want that can spread are disease and I want fire. And so now that we actually, once destructible buildings are possible and the wooden destructible buildings are possible, like, hey, fire. It's not far off. I hope not, at least. What else do we have here? Add a volcano map. Yeah, my God, totally. What I want is disease and fire. Look. It's a very peaceful, gentle, relaxing world. There's got to be a little bit of, more danger here and there. The stream's ending, isn't it? Sorry, Hyrule Symbol. I'm afraid it is, but at least it will be saved and archived for your convenience. What else? Don't call me Shirley has a... Well, too late. I mean, you should not have named yourself that. Like, that's obviously... He wishes... No, not destruction. Just, survival of the fittest. A little bit of Darwinism. What do you think the building system... what do you think the building system needs to be improved on the most? Literally everything. Not to put too fine a point on it. It was what the rewrite that we've been doing is just top to bottom. Between the user experience, between the building core, between the metaphors that were used, between the client code, the server code, like just everything. Everything was it was a valiant attempt, and we didn't know nearly enough what we needed to do. Version 1, throw away the prototype. Let's get cracking on version 2. But not let's get cracking. I have been cracking on it, and it's coming along really, really well. And on that note, I think I'm about to wrap up. Let's see what else. Don't forget to change the stream title. I did change it. It should say Stonehearth Dev Stream 275. Moar building. Is fishing a possibility? Damn it! One day. Would temperature be something that would affect the happiness of hearthlings? That's a gameplay consideration. In fact, actually, the Frost Feast models, the mods had that. That's something we could definitely see, in the future. We'll see. But if the herbalist doctor was infected and she didn't know, too bad. Okay, I'm looking for a more brutal game, I think, than some of our fans. Although, on the other hand, no, some of our fans are pretty brutal as well. Yeah, we'll see. These are the part of the Stonehearth where it's like you could just pie in the sky and like imagine any kind of system you want to put in the game for infections and for cold and for this and for that. And it's nice to have Richard now, who you can bug with these questions, by the way, who can actually like talk about these things in the way that they relate to actually creating a coherent game with like choices and consequences and things you can actually interact with that make sense and compel you to interact more with them. Yeah, freaking RimWorld. Yeah, we don't want to go RimWorld. We don't want to go. RimWorld is already RimWorld. We got one of those. We already got one of those. So we're okay on that regard. I am just about to close up here. I kind of heavy survival without the monster, just super realistic dark Stonehearth. That'll be a game for someone else to build. Yeah, so I think that's it for me, guys. It is actually 10 o'clock my time. I will be back along again, probably in about 8 weeks, and hopefully by then I will have a very, very fleshed out number of tools to show you and new building experiences and, kind of the fruits of all this labor finally kind of gelling and coming together. Yeah, my pleasure to answer your questions. It's great to hear your feedback. I'm glad you're excited about it. I'm excited about it too. It's great to finally start to actually cash in on the promise of what we've been trying to build here. Yeah, are we looking at A24 or even later? Oh, okay. Last question. So A20, well, okay. I'm getting a little ahead here. I think Stephanie has some comments on the matter. I think we're going to see Alpha 22 with a number of sort of smaller updates coming onto it, and the building stuff being I don't want to say 24. I want to say 23 or 23, like a late 23 or maybe a 23.5, that sort of thing. This is not something we want to drag on forever. Once we have a couple good tools that give you what you have already in terms of capabilities, but much, much better, obviously decisively, no comparison, this puts the old stuff to shame, that's when I think we'll put a bow on it, even if that doesn't contain everything we want, and ship that and then start to iterate from there and go out. So there is going to be this big sort of piece where we're working on where if it's 23 or if it's 23.5, it's going to be a little bit longer to get out. But that's just because, I was talking with Stephanie about this today. I don't want to be hey, you had this old half-baked building experience. Here's a new half-baked building experience, but I swear to God, we're going to finish this one. No. I want to come out the gate swinging, or what is it? Come out of the corner swinging. I don't know what the idiom is. Okay, that was the last question, and I will see you all in a couple weeks, and hopefully at that point you will see some pretty awesome stuff. So good night, good evening, good morning, in case you're on that part of the world, and we will see each other again soon. Bye, everyone.